Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is while you're watching this. Today's thoughts are on the Royal Enfield 450 Himalayan. It was released about the same time that I bought my 411, and I'm a bit wary of bikes in the first year or two of being released because I think, yeah, let the problems be sorted out by somebody else other than me. And I'm not overly keen on buying a brand new model for the sake of having a brand new model. If I get a bike, it's because it's a bike I want and I think it'll be right for me. Anyway, I had a problem with my camera and it froze up, so we're going to be looking at a few bits and pieces and I'll tell you about the rest of it. First of all, through town it's very well mannered, apart from second gear. I was in a couple of 20-mile-an-hour limits, and as with the Gorilla, which I've had a quick ride on before, it is very easy to accidentally get above 20 miles an hour in one of the many ridiculous 20-mile-an-hour limits you find these days. The bike's got less than 300 miles on it, so it's in the first of the two running in rev restrictions, in this case 4,000 RPM, which is just about 50 miles an hour. After you've done just over 300 miles, you can open up to 6,000 RPM, which based on 4,000 being 50 should see you at a maximum of about 75. Obviously 70 is the limit in the UK on motorway, so everybody does less than that, don't they, boys and girls? When I first sat on one of these, I thought it felt a little bit heavier than the 411, particularly because it carries the weight up higher. The bike's actually slightly lighter, and although the weight is slightly higher, it is still very low. The fuel tank drops to either side of the frame. Underneath it you've got the air filter. The engine's had a shed load of weight saved off it, even though now it's water cooled rather than air cooled. Of course, the fins coming off is going to be quite a lot of weight saved, but you do also have a radiator slapped on the bike, and despite that it's gone on a diet. There's a few changes been done to this one. It's the lowered version, so there's a different linkage on the rear suspension and the forks are dropped through the yokes a little bit. In addition, you can see the double take or second look, I can never get the bloody name right, mirrors, and 30mm bar risers. 30mm is the maximum you can get away with. The bar risers 2-piece, a 20mm piece and a 10mm piece, so obviously stacking them up gives you 30mm, or you can have slightly lower if you need them. Standing up on the peg, the bars do feel a little bit lower than the 411, even, you know, riding the same sort of position that I do, but it's still a nice easy stance for looking over bridges or off-roading. I didn't manage to find the full lock on the bike. Sitting on the bike while stationary and turning the bars lock to lock, it does seem to have more range on the handlebars than the 411, but maybe it's just that I haven't done many miles on it, so I'm not used to it. But it does seem to turn nearly as much as the trials bike I used to have, a Montesa 4RT. As far as I've been able to tell, obviously riding on restricted RPM, it's got quite a lot more punch than the 411. The switch gear's a little bit weird. They're rotary rather than rocker switches, but I dare say you'll soon get used to those. To the right of the horn, on the left-hand instrument cluster, there's a little joystick that allows you to change things on the screen. There's a home button as well on the front of the left-hand switchgear cluster for when you're playing about with all the various functions, and you can adjust the mode with the push under the start switch on the right-hand cluster. You can't do this while you're moving. I think the clutch has got to be in and the throttle's got to be shut. It turns between eco mode and normal mode with the option of switching off the rear ABS in either of them. Not the front, just the rear. In terms of the design and looks of the bike, it's very obviously an evolution rather than a revolution. It's got a lot of the same styling cues, especially the tank rails, which I attach bags to. Royal Enfield did say you're not supposed to do that before releasing their own bags, so obviously you are supposed to do that. So for having a pootle around on one of these, it's really good. It doesn't seem to have quite the same character as the 411, but worth a look if you're in the market for a mid-size adventure bike that you can do lots of other stuff on. And unlike the 411, where I said I wouldn't want it as my only bike, I probably could get away with having this as my only bike. But hey, I've got a couple of Hondas I really love and the 411, so it certainly wouldn't be the only bike in my garage. Tatty bye for now.